Everyone saw her as just another quiet grandmother, sitting alone on the metal bleachers, hands folded, eyes fixed on the parade deck. But when the U.S. Marine Corps commander caught a glimpse of the faded combat ink on her arm, the entire graduation ceremony stopped cold. Before we begin, tell us, from which part of the country are you watching today? Leave a comment below. She arrived early, long before the stands began to fill, moving carefully but with purpose. At 73, her steps were slower, yet steady, shaped by years of discipline rather than age alone. She wore no medals, no insignia, nothing that hinted at a past beyond grandmotherhood. Just a simple blouse, a light cardigan, and neatly pressed slacks. In her purse was a folded invitation, creased for being checked again and again. Her grandson's name printed proudly at the top. Today, he would become a United States Marine. As the recruits marched onto the parade deck in perfect formation, the crowd erupted with cheers. Parents waved, siblings shouted names, phones rose into the air. She didn't shout. She didn't wave. She watched quietly, eyes sharp, posture straight, as if she were inspecting more than celebrating. When her grandson passed, she nodded once, a small, private gesture that carried more weight than applause. The ceremony progressed smoothly until the heat forced many spectators to roll up sleeves. She hesitated, then slowly pushed her cardigan back. That was when it happened. A nearby officer stiffened. Across the field, standing near the reviewing stand, the USMC commander, Colonel James Walker, froze mid-conversation. His eyes narrowed, then widened. He leaned forward slightly, staring not at the recruits, but at the elderly woman in the stands. On her forearm, faded but unmistakable, was combat ink. Not decorative, not symbolic. Operational. Unit markings. A deployment number. A skull insignia used only by a classified joint task force decades earlier. Colonel Walker felt his chest tighten. He knew that ink. He'd seen it once before, on the arm of a legend whispered about in briefing rooms and never written into official histories. Trying to shake it off, he returned his attention to the ceremony. But his focus was broken. When the recruits were dismissed and families surged forward, Walker broke protocol. Instead of heading to the reception, he walked directly toward the stands. Marines parted instinctively. Conversations died out. The elderly woman stood just as he reached her. "Ma'am," he said carefully, voice controlled. "May I ask where you served?" Her grandson, now a freshly minted Marine, turned sharply. "Sir," his voice cracked with confusion. "My grandmother didn't serve. She's just here for me." She placed a gentle hand on his sleeve. "It's all right," she said softly. Then she looked at the colonel. "Long time ago. Longer than most people remember." Walker swallowed. "With respect, ma'am, that ink means you outranked everyone on this base at one point." The surrounding Marines stiffened. Silence spread like a shockwave. The young Marine's eyes darted between them. "Grandma," she exhaled, the sound carrying years of memories. "I never planned on telling you today," she said to her grandson. "But some things don't stay buried forever." She turned back to Walker. "We weren't supposed to exist. No records. No funerals. When we lost people, the world never knew." Walker straightened, then did something no one expected. He snapped to attention and rendered a full, sharp salute. Every senior NCO nearby followed without question. One by one, Marines across the deck noticed and joined in. The graduation transformed into something else entirely. Tears welled in the grandson's eyes. "You were a Marine?" She smiled faintly. "Something like that. Before women were allowed to be anything like this." She gestured toward the formation. We made room quietly. Later, in a private room, Walker explained the truth. She had been part of a joint reconnaissance unit used in conflicts the public would never read about. Her call signs were still taught in advanced war colleges, without names, without faces. The ink on her arm wasn't decoration. It was clearance. As the sun dipped low, she finally hugged her grandson, holding him tighter than she ever had. "You earned this," she whispered. "But remember, rank fades. Honor doesn't." That day, a young Marine learned his legacy was deeper than bloodlines. and a base remembered someone history had tried to forget. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you why these moments matter, subscribe to the channel. You're not just watching stories here. You're joining a community that honors sacrifice, legacy, and the untold chapters of courage.